CBS News has confirmed more than 700 pages of classified documents were found during the FBI search of Mar-a-Lago. Our Robert Costa has more.
A newly revealed letter from the National Archives to Donald Trump's legal team details the alarm inside the federal agency about Trump's possession of highly classified material. Specifically, among the boxes Trump took with him to his Mar-a-Lago estate were over 100 documents with classification markings comprising more than 700 pages, some up to top secret.
Top secret is the highest classification level of the U.S. government. It's based on a judgment that if our adversaries got their hands on that information, there would be exceptionally grave damage to the United States of America.
So far, a U.S. official tells CBS News that the Justice Department has retrieved at least 150 classified documents from the boxes Trump handed over to the National Archives earlier this year. And the New York Times reports that since federal agents re-engaged with Trump's legal team this summer and then searched his home, that number has climbed to more than 300. Containing documents from the CIA, the National Security Agency, and the FBI. Trump, who is considering a 2024 presidential run, continues to attack the probe and cast it as politically motivated in a motion earlier this week. The Justice Department has responded by saying it had probable cause for the search.
Presidential elections more than 2 years away. This doesn't immunize him from a criminal investigation into this mishandling and unauthorized retention of properly marked classified documents.
And Robert Costa joins us now from Palm Beach, Florida. So, Bob, how serious is former President Trump's lawsuit against the federal government? And will this appointment of this special master actually change anything?
We're going to have to see where this special master request goes. The Trump filing is already facing several legal complications as the Florida federal judge looks at it and evaluates it and wonders if this is going to be something they move forward with or not. There is certainly an effort inside of the Trump circle to have a neutral party, in their view, review and return the documents. But this is not 1 or 2 days after the FBI search. This is weeks after the FBI search. And the Department of Justice already has a so-called filter team going through the material, the evidence they've collected. So how a neutral party would somehow be introduced, deal with the filter team at the Justice Department, whether things would have to start over. It's hard to see how this all plays out at this point.
A redacted version, Bob, of the Mar-a-Lago search affidavit is due on Thursday. So why is that document significant, and what might we learn from it once it does come out?
We keep trying to piece together as reporters where this story began and what really propelled the Justice Department to move in this way. And we learned new details today. For example, we learned from the National Archives in a May letter asked the Trump legal team to give the documents back, to work with them to get the classified documents, 700 pages, over 100 documents, back in the hands of the National Archives and the Justice Department so they can make sure no intelligence materials were being improperly stored. So we learned that happened in May. That was a new piece of information today. Then we knew, of course, previously that federal agents went to Mar-a-Lago, just behind me here, across the water in Palm Beach, Florida, in June to meet with Trump's legal team, try to collect some more documents. Then, of course, in early August, the Trump legal team was confronted by federal agents, FBI agents arriving to search the property here in Florida. And it all comes back to this alarm inside the National Archives that Trump did not go to them with the boxes he packed up inside the residence at the White House in the final days of the Trump administration. Instead, packed them up himself, did not go to the National Archives, and then stored them in a basement storage facility here in Palm Beach, Florida. But we're still trying to find out more, and that's why that affidavit you mentioned really matters. Now, there may be complicated sources and methods that are mentioned in the affidavit that the Justice Department might not want to make public. So they have an opportunity now in the coming days to go through their affidavit, which is the underlying evidence that leads to the search warrant, and try to maybe black out certain things they believe are too sensitive to be made public. But the Florida federal judge here, just across in West Palm Beach, has said to the government, you have to try to do something here to bring more information to the public because there's such intense interest. But he hasn't made a decision about where exactly he will go in terms of the scope of what will be released.
Got it. Well, several primary elections are underway there in Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis will find out who his Democratic challenger will be come November. So has this search of Mar-a-Lago behind you, as you said, impacted DeSantis's political momentum or popularity in this state there?
The shadow of former President Trump, it looms a bit over the Florida primary tonight in the sense that one of his political heirs, or someone who wants to be his political heir potentially in running for the White House in 2024, is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. And two top Democrats, State Agricultural Commissioner Nikki Fried and Charlie Crist, the former Republican governor, now a Democratic congressman, they are seeking the Democratic gubernatorial nomination. They want to take on Ron DeSantis, be a political giant killer, and take on someone who they believe could be the next in line for the Republicans at a national level. It reminds me a little bit of the 2006 Senate race in Virginia when Jim Webb took on then-Senator Republican George Allen. Allen was seen as a contender for the 2008 Republican nomination, but when he lost, he kind of washed away from that whole discussion in 2008. That same dynamic is at play here in Florida. Democrats would like to take out DeSantis politically before he starts to get traction in 2024.
Right, but there's been so many rumors, about him possibly running. So how is DeSantis positioning himself for a potential presidential run in 2024? It's, of course, 2 years away, but as you know, it'll be here before we know it.
DeSantis is going to be in Miami tonight. He's going to be having an event there with other state Republicans, but he's been elsewhere across the nation in recent weeks. He's been traveling around supporting candidates running in the 2022 midterm elections, building a national profile, building a donor base. He is someone who is taking on cultural issues, in particular education. He's arguing that public sector unions in the education sector are not doing a good job in some respects when it comes to curriculum. And his sharp words on that front have won him favor among many conservative activists here in Florida and around the country. He's also been, frankly, anti-media in terms of his rhetoric. He just aired an ad where he plays a fighter pilot, and he's giving fighter pilots and others clues, in his view, of how to deal with what he calls the, quote, corporate media. So this is someone who is framing himself nationally as an anti-establishment person inside the Republican Party, who made his mark earlier in his term when he dealt with the COVID-19 pandemic in a way that many conservatives thought was appropriate, though it won him enormous amount of criticism from Democrats and some Republicans for the way he handled different lockdown policies.
Got it. All right. Well, Bob Costa breaking it all down for us. As always, Bob, thank you.